going on, vinyl community? Welcome to another video with the Record Spinner. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a vinyl haul showcasing what I got from this year's Record Store Day Black Friday in 2022. I don't think I commented on what I thought of the list for this year's Record Store Day Black Friday. In general, it's a bit watered down compared to what we usually come to expect from the big Record Store Day that occurs in April, or at this point across the year, since there's various drop dates and whatnot that have occurred over recent years. But honestly, with this year, my feelings on the list still kind of stand. It just seems that it becomes a bit lackluster as time goes on. But with that said, there is still always a stack of things that I'm always after based on what's on the list. And I got some rather decent things from this year. If you've been following my channel for a while, you might already guess what stuff I got my hands on based on what I like and what my preferences are. But there's still also some new territory within what I got from this year. So enough of the chit chat. Let's jump into what this video is all about. Starting off with David Bowie, The Next Day Extra EP. This is a collection of various outtakes and remixes that all stem from the Next Day album that Bowie did back in 2013. I believe with some of the tracks, some like the new tracks that are on here, they were finished up after the album had come out in the, I want to say it was like March of 2013, so he finished up those tracks, and then there's also a couple of remixes as well, such as for the tracks Love Is Lost and I'd Rather Be High, which are on the album. But in terms of some of the extra tracks, there's Atomica, The Informer, Like a Rocket Man, Born in a UFO, and God Bless the Girl. And given that I'm a little bit of a Bowie kind of completist, like I will check out anything Bowie related, I figured I would check out this release here. Kind of has a sort of obstructed version of the album cover, which riffs on the Heroes album cover. And it comes in a printed inner sleeve here. So there you can see the artwork that that the Next Day references. Got some credits here. And here is the vinyl, which uses the same custom center label from the original album. And this is a Record Store Day exclusive piece, and it is limited, oddly enough, to 11,850 copies, which means that this will most definitely be readily available in the foreseeable future. And keeping it in the Bowie vein, and also 'tis the season, I picked up the David Bowie Bing Crosby 12-inch of Peace on Earth and Little Drummer Boy. This was when Bing Crosby did his Christmas special back in 1977, and they did this nice little duet. And to be honest, in terms of like Christmas records that I have in my collection, this was one that I definitely had to have, just because it's, you know, just a great match. And then the B-side is actually the Bing Crosby track, White World of Winter. So it's a nice little festive piece to have. And this comes pressed on sort of what's described as peppermint swirl kind of colored vinyl. Overall, it kind of gives off a bit of a salmon sort of hue with the colors mixed together. This is another Record Store Day exclusive piece, but the amount of copies that were pressed up is unknown. But still, I would say if you're out there and you see this, definitely pick it up for yourself. It's a really cool piece to own. Another familiar territory. Every year, this band always puts out a Record Store Day release, and that is The Doors. And this collection is called Paris Blues. Now, this is interesting. So this features what is stated to be the last known unreleased Doors track, which is called Paris Blues. A little bit of a myth behind the track. Most people say it's an outtake from LA Woman. Some say it's from the Soft Parade. The story goes is that it existed on a cassette, and Ray Manzarek's son was messing around with the tape and taped over a few bits and pieces. So the Doors audio team went ahead and kind of reconstructed the track a little bit, and it is finally here, released as part of this compilation, which brings together a lot of other Doors blues tracks. So there's the track Paris Blues. There's a couple of unreleased recordings from a benefit show that Jim and Robbie did, such as I Will Never Be Untrue, Me and the Devil Blues. There's also some tracks such as You Need Me, Don't Go No Further, and I'm Your Doctor, which were released as part of the Soft Parade Super Deluxe set that came out for its 50th anniversary. And then on the B side, we have some live cuts from Vancouver 1970, which are Little Red Rooster, Rock Me Baby, and Who Do You Love? And that was joined with blues legend Albert King. And there you can go see on the back cover, there's Albert King lighting up Jim Morrison's Stogie. We have some liner notes here, and this is a Record Store Day exclusive piece. Supposedly, it's listed to be limited to 10,000 copies. The copies are numbered, but look at this curious number here. This is 14,011, so don't know what's up with that. We have a printed inner sleeve here. Here's a photo of the band playing with Albert King in Vancouver. And then there's a little brief written piece talking about the story of Paris Blues. Talks about the track a bit, and we have track-by-track credits for all the songs featured on this compilation. And there's also an advertisement for A Guide to the Labyrinth, which is the limited edition book of Jim Morrison's poetry, which is pretty cool. It includes a 7-inch as well, so this is a cool thing to kind of check out for yourself. And this comes pressed on blue vinyl, and it features a rather interesting looking Elektra label, which I have never seen before, so that's pretty cool. So definitely excited to listen to this last known unreleased Doors studio recording. Maybe if they dig deeper, they'll find some other things. But given the amount of compilations and releases and box sets over the years from the Doors, I think this might be it. This might round off everything. And going further, we have a little bit of a band that I'm starting to get more into as of lately. I already have their first major studio album in my collection. This is the Jefferson Airplane live at the Monterey International Pop Festival from 1967. This kind of looks similar to what they did with the Who set from the Monterey Pop Festival. It's kind of designed the same way, but this features the Airplane's full show from the festival with an introduction by Jerry Garcia. Somebody to Love is on here, White Rabbit, Young Girl Sunday Blues, all classic stuff. If you love this surrealistic pillow album, then you will absolutely adore this. Now, this comes on a nice glossy tip-on style jacket. We also have a printed inner sleeve with various testimonials from the band members, as well as a scan of the tape box that the show is recorded on. This is a Record Store Day first release, which means that there's probably going to be a standard release to come down the line. It's limited to 2,500 copies, and this comes pressed on sort of what's described to be smoky blue vinyl. So it's kind of like almost like a turquoisey-esque kind of colored vinyl with some black swirls, which looks very cool, with a nice center label there. So this is a very nice release, and I'm definitely excited to dig deeper into Jefferson Airplane with this release. Put this back in the sleeve and proceed further. And next up, we have more of the Monkees. This is the Monkees' second album, and this is indeed the mono mix of the album. Friday Music has been slowly but surely been putting out individual releases of the Monkees' mono catalog. If you remember from years past, there was a Record Store Day box set of the Monkees in mono, which brought together all the mono mixes, but now they're doing them individually. And that's honestly solid because I do like me some Monkees, and it's nice to have both the stereo and mono mixes of these albums. Here is the back cover here. And this is another Record Store Day first release. This is limited to 2,000 copies, and it comes pressed on green vinyl. And there you can see they kind of do a re-rendering of the Cold Gems label there, but instead it says Friday Music. So that is good stuff. Next up, we have a 10-inch release, and that is the Motley Crue Girls, Girls, Girls Tour 10-inch EP. This is long out of print. It was only released within, I believe it was England or Europe, to promote the band's tour that was going to go on there. And it brings together 4 tracks: You're All I Need, Wild Side, Home Sweet Home, and Looks That Kill. So we basically have 2 tracks from Girls, 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 and then 1 from Theater of Pain and Shout at the Devil. And this right here is a Record Store Day exclusive release. This is limited to 4,250 copies, and it comes pressed on red vinyl. So it's a cool little piece of crew vinyl to have in the collection. Next up is a little bit of a surprise release. Kind of interesting to see this get a vinyl pressing. This is Ted Nugent, Spirit of the Wild. This is an album that Ted did back around, I want to say, the early to mid 90s. A couple of standout tracks. Spirit of the Wild is on here, the title track, which was the name of his hunting show from back in the day. Fred Bear is on here. That's a big highlight. The track Kiss My Ass is a bit of good fun. And then what's cool with this vinyl pressing is that there's 2 unreleased tracks called Guns and Fan the Flame, probably from the same sort of time frame. So say what you want about Ted Nugent in terms of his politics. I mean, questionable kind of guy, but man made some kick-ass music, especially with those first couple records. My God, come on, can't go wrong. And this is a Record Store Day exclusive piece. This is limited to 2,000 copies, and it comes pressed on translucent orange vinyl, which looks very, very nice. Definitely curious to dig into this later era Nugent record. Next up, we have a 7-inch by the Silversun Pickups, or I should say SSVU. This is a collaboration with the band Silversun Pickups as well as Butch Vig, who of course is in the band Garbage, and he also produced Nirvana's Nevermind and a whole bunch of other records. Butch Vig had actually produced the Silversun Pickups' most recent album, and they did this little collaboration here. So the A-side is David Lynch Has a Painting Made of Flies' Eyes, and the back side is Suzanne Ciani. And this 7-inch is another Record Store Day exclusive, limited to 1,300 copies. Comes on black vinyl, and the labels basically reflect each side of the 7-inch sleeve. So it's nice to have that. I do love the Silversun Pickups very much. One of my favorite indie bands. And last but not least, we have Brian Wilson, Long Promise Road. This is the soundtrack to the new Brian Wilson documentary that is out, which if you have not watched it, definitely check it out. Focuses in on his artistry and kind of not necessarily tells the story of his career, but, you know, Brian kind of goes through and talks about certain facets of his career, and it kind of cuts 2 shots of him and his band in the studio working on an album's worth of material, which is basically what this is. So it's all fresh recordings, which is good stuff, and comes with a printed inner sleeve here, track by track breakdown of who plays on what. And then there's a picture of the man himself sitting at the control room with a breakdown of each track. This is a Record Store Day first release, which means that there's going to be a standard release coming down the line. This is limited to 2,000 copies, and it comes pressed on sort of marbled, kind of blue and white vinyl, which looks absolutely gorgeous. Nice sky blue, if anything. So that is very, very nice. And I'm definitely excited to give all of these releases a spin on the turntable, and I can actually confidently say that I did manage to get everything that I kind of set my eyes out to get. Not as much compared to other years, but still enough for me to kind of look at the list and see what was there that was of interest to me. So there you guys go. That is my vinyl haul of what I got from this year's Record Store Day Black Friday in 2022. Question for you guys. What did you guys pick up and check out for yourself? Please drop a comment down below. I'd love to know. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead, give it a like, and subscribe to the channel. See you guys in the next video, and most importantly, keep the records spinning.